This is a story that centers around one man, nay, one supreme being,
Can I laugh in your face?
his organized crime connection and how they respected him greatly.
Steven Seagal, all those karate movies, remember them things? He shit his pants, I think, twice. He was so scared.
Sensei's love for all reporters, particularly females.
I had a hard time. It was usually with women. Oh, and I should go into pornography or something instead of journalism if they want to hear that. Bunch of.
Some of the women seemed unfair. Why? You think because of the subject matter? Most women don't like action pictures.
I won't even dare tell you what I think it is. It was just some dumb that is a liar and wanted to be sensational. If I ever see her again, I'll tell her to her face. I think she belongs in a zoo.
And of course, many people calling the great man a liar.
I really don't give a
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we take a look at Sensei Camel Toe and his bad boy life and persona. Forget about all the tough talk. We finally get to see how Sensei Sunflower deals with real life going down. We go balls deep into Sensei Snuffleupagus' rumoured ties with organised crime, the reporter he tried to harass, and his alleged little cry he had with the FBI. I'll be saying allegedly a lot in this video so I don't get sued by Big Papa Sensei. I will not be funding his cookie addiction.
I love to fuck cookies.
We've got bribes, cookies, hitmen, CIA agents, organised crime, fish heads, and attempted birthday snatchings. Pretty sure you first thought this sounds like a Big Daddy Seagal movie. Well, you're completely wrong, you
Dumb motherfucker.
Sensei Seagal lives life in the fast lane. Get on board or you'll get left behind.
It's good to be the king, isn't it? And guess what? This could happen to you if you drank Lightning Bolt.
So buckle up as we peel back the wrapper from Sensei Seagal's chunky world of lies and deception.
Allegedly, that's ignorant.
Before we start, I just want to say thank you to everyone for their support, especially in the last week when YouTube demonetized my entire channel for no reason. Your words of encouragement and support were greatly appreciated. I have since been reinstated, for now, after appealing the decision and more primed than ever to spread the good word of the mystical master.
Thank you, God. Victory!
If you wish to join this little cult of Seagal awesomeness, please like and subscribe, and perhaps in the comments you might consider leaving a string of consecutive words, commonly known as a sentence. Now here's a shameless 15-second merch plug, complete with Seagal's awesome music as the audio backing track.
When the girls start to strut, you could look at their butt, you shouldn't do that. The girl dress is just a pity, not just there to cover her kitty. You want the bananas if it make me nice. Me love the way you walk, sometimes the way you talk is so hot.
Way back in the late 80s, during a time when Sensei had a full head of... back when Sensei was a ripped athletic... Back in the late 80s, Sensei's scratch and sniff star was on the rise. His neighbour at the time, Julius Nasso, was a pharmacologist who for some reason was also a film producer, and he and Sensei Puffball created Seagal Nasso Productions.
Under the money.
Which eventually became Steamroller Productions, but you'll end up finding out why a little later on. Nasso and Seagal worked closely from the late 80s onwards. During the early 90s, Sensei was collaborating on some of his films with an ex-mercenary named Gary Goldman. Goldman initially backed Seagal's claims of being an ex-CIA operative, special ops bad boy.
I think it would be fair to say that at some point in time, Uncle Sam recruited Steven because they thought he had particular talents that would prove useful on certain assignments. I know this much: I've been out with Steven on several missions, and he knows how to get things done. He has a certain high level of skill that you don't just pick up reading fantasy magazines. I don't think anyone would question his capabilities.
Unsurprisingly, Goldman recanted his statement, insisting that Sensei Shingles lied about his past after Seagal screwed Goldman over money and screenplay credits.
Please accept this written apology for any deception, stated or implied, that I may have conveyed. The plain truth of the matter is that Seagal was and is a gutless coward who is trying to convert the heroic deeds of those brave men into a personal history for himself.
Damn!
This upset Sensei Seagal, as he couldn't have his impeccable record of lies stained with somebody telling the truth. Papa Seagal turned to an actual ex-CIA operative, Robert Strickland, to help with this problem.
I'd like you to do me a favor. I'd like you to kill Gary Goldman. All the stunned Strickland can say is you're crazy. The actor looks merely frustrated. If you won't do it, get someone who will. Pay him what you want and keep the rest.
Strickland was also a business associate / friend of Seagal's, before they also had a falling out over money.
In December 1991, they too had a falling out. Strickland concluded that Seagal was representing his adventures as moments from his own life. The CIA man, angry in the extreme, called Seagal and demanded that the actor stop appropriating his life, and said that if he didn't, he would expose Seagal as a phony.
CIA. Have you ever been involved? Do you know people at the CIA?
I might have met a couple of folks once or twice.
Have you ever lived a dangerous life that might be like the lives they live when you're in the CIA?
I did a couple of things, once or twice.
When you say a couple of things.
Seagal appropriating other people's lives? It's not like he's ever done something like that before. Seagalians know what's coming next.
Yeah, I have some Italian on my mother's side.
I'm Russian. My family are from Vladivostok and Belarus and, Vladimir Putin.
I am a little bit Asian.
Also, recent photographs of, for example, my grandmother, who surely looks pure Mohawk, and I'm pretty sure she is. I'm a Russian Mongol, and I'm Russian. My father was a Russian Mongol, so these people are Russian Mongols.
I don't know what color I am.
Sensei Skidmark was just getting warmed up. Herbert Saunders was an agency consultant Seagal hired for various security-related tasks. Old Herbie, reportedly a reputable veteran of 3 decades, claims Sensei Triggerfinger wanted him to frame Alan Richman from GQ magazine for a not-so-nice article he wrote about Sensei Suki Baby.
How dare you!
Sensei Precious was angry.
In fact, he has already gone on Arsenio and called Richman a 5'2" fat little male impersonator. Richman is, in fact, a lean 5'9" former army captain.
And all I can say is, this guy is like a 5'2" fat little, male. And that's his.
His genius plan for revenge?
Seagal tells the consultant that Richman is gay. Actor's words. Richman is actually heterosexual.
He wants Richman set up with a homosexual to get pictures of Richman going down on the man. The pictures are used to destroy Richman's career.
Alrighty then.
That wasn't all for Herbie. Allegedly,
After Saunders turned down the assignment, Seagal hit him with an even darker one. Seagal said he was about to open a restaurant in Chicago, according to Saunders, but had a mortal enemy from his days in Southeast Asia, and he worried the man would assassinate him during the ribbon cutting. According to Saunders, Seagal said, "Do you mean you wouldn't whack him?"
but we're not done yet. No. Almost a decade later, in 2002, Big Daddy was accused of attempting to intimidate 2 reporters, Anita Bush from the New York Times and Ned Zaman from Vanity Fair. Anita had a bullet shot through her car and was gifted a dead fish with a rose in its mouth and the word "stop." Ned was held at gunpoint and told to stop, also before having the trigger pulled. The gun was empty, but the message was sent. Stop stealing Seagal's cookies from the cookie jar.
This is the come to Jesus moment, and I was not born on a turnip truck, man.
The perpetrator of the threats on the reporters was Anthony Pellicano, a private investigator to the stars. It's alleged he was hired by Big Papa to stop the reporters from further investigations into his BDSM dungeons, or his organised crime links, whatever.
Evidence shows Steven Seagal hired Mr. Pellicano, and Mr. Pellicano hired Proctor, who put the metal tray with dead fish with a rose in its mouth on the windshield of the plaintiff's car. Seagal wanted to dissuade plaintiff from reporting on Seagal's relationship with organized crime, the Gambino family.
For the record, none of these charges were ever proven. I mean, are we expected to believe that our spiritual deity, Sensei Bubblegut, would act in this manner?
Yeah.
The two journalists were also investigating Michael Ovitz, Seagal's agent, who apparently was quite the piece of shit also.
Narcissistic attention seeker.
So, we have two ex-CIA operatives approached by Sensei Softcock to snatch two people's
birthday.
There were two journalists intimidated and threatened, and a plot to frame another as gay. Now, back to Julian Nasso, who I mentioned at the start, Seagal's neighbour slash friend slash cousin. This gentleman had known ties to organised crime and was involved in a number of Sensei Shitstains movies.
Allegedly!
If I were to take a stab at what was going on, I'd say Sensei Samurai got hooked up with the mob through his neighbour Julian Nasso.
Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?
This bloke was on the deed to Seagal's house for some reason, so there's some shady shit going on.
I don't recall.
Let's let the infamous Sammy the Bull tell us a story that I have edited, but I've left all the juicy bits in, so don't worry.
We went to a wedding. There was two doctors, I don't remember their names. They had a house in Staten Island right off the ocean, beautiful house. The guy's son was going to get married, and Johnny Gambino, the Gambinos were close to these doctors. And we got a big long table, and they sat us down. And he says, I got this guy's an actor, up and coming, just starting to act. You mind if I bring him over? He would love to say hello to you. And sure enough, this tall guy with his hair slicked back with a ponytail, Steven Seagal. Johnny Gambino and that crew, 18th Avenue, the Greaseballs, they had him. And he was given a piece of every movie that they did. Money was coming in from, I don't know how they get it out, but what they do there, but money was coming in. And later on, when John went away, he seemed that he quit acting and he went on this weird thing where he would go up in the mountains and pray. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but he didn't want to act no more. He quit. He doesn't want to do it. He goes somewhere and he works in the sheriff's office. He becomes in the sheriff's posse. He's a cop now. And he's teaching them how to do karate and all these stupid moves and whatever. But no, he wants to go get money off him. So they sit down with him a couple of times, threaten him, do all kinds of stupid shit. Steven Seagal, all those karate movies, remember them things? He shit pants, I think, twice. He was so scared. And one of those times, I don't know how, I don't think it was because of Steven Seagal. The table was bugged. They were following Peter Gotti and they saw him go into this meeting with this actor. So they went to Steven Seagal and told him, we got this tape. They were threatening you and we have it on tape. We want you to testify. He turned white, I heard. He was paralyzed with fear about testifying. He did testify. From what I heard from some FBI people I knew that I remained friendly with, he brought, what do those kids bring that blanket, safety blanket, they hold on to it all the time? He held on to his blanket on the stand while he was testifying the whole time. The guy, when he went in the back room, was hysterical, crying. Two agents had to hug him.
My elite detective skills led me to find that Sensei Hot Dogs took a break from making movies to follow his Buddhist spiritual destiny.
Yeah, I am a lama, I'm a tuku, I'm a rinpoche, and I have studied Buddhism and Zen my whole life.
He backed out of 4 movies that Nassau had lined up, subsequently costing Nassau and the mob some money. Nassau felt like he and his gangster buddies were out about $500,000 to $700,000 because of this, and wanted compensation from Sensei Muffintop. Nassau did take Anthony Chichone and another associate to visit Seagal a couple of times and ended up getting the money from Big Papa. I think we're all wondering the same thing.
So I told the agent, I said, why would he do that, bro? Why didn't he just get up and give Peter Gotti and Sonny Seagal a couple of karate chops like he does in a movie?
And the reality, my friends?
The agent laughed. He said, Sammy, this ain't the movies.
The FBI did approach Sensei Butterfly to testify, and whether or not he actually cried to the FBI or not, there were some interesting developments in the case. Firstly, his safety blanket, as Sammy mentioned.
He carefully arranged 2 red shawls over his lap, evidently to warm his chilly knees.
And Sensei states the reason he broke off his association with his neighbor Julian Nassau was because...
He said he broke up the partnership because Mr. Nassau was an abusive person who was using mood, elevating drugs and going into psychotic rages.
Outside of court, the lawyer's f***ing awesome response.
Mr. Nassau's lawyer said outside of court that Mr. Seagal's account was full of fabrications and declared that his testimony was the pot calling the kettle black.
He's calling Seagal a cokehead psycho. Oh, I wish he would have elaborated. Sensei Tough Guy also noted that he took a gun to the meeting with Nassau and the mobsters. If he couldn't chop them all to death, he could no-look shoot them all to death. Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Our honourable and spiritual leader was allegedly involved in some scandalous activities.
Bullshit, motherfucker!
Sometimes you just need to annihilate a few people and destroy some lives for the greater good of the world. Sensei understood how important he is to humanity and did what he needed to do. When I asked Sensei about this, he had the following response.
I think that, we have a really unfortunate situation in the sense that...
And when I pursued further, he wouldn't have any of it.
I want you to shut the f*** up.
I refuse to pass judgment on my almighty cookie muncher, but I'll let you make up your own mind. Do y'all think he was involved with any of these alleged incidents? Let me know in a string of consecutive words that form a sentence and paragraph. Until next time, my friends, stay awesome. Check out some of the other videos if you haven't already. There's plenty of light fun and laughs to be had, like these puppies up on screen. Thank you all for watching. There are more videos dropping soon. Be kind to someone out there, and most importantly, stay awesome. Peace, legends.
Sunshine bright in the sky, and I'm free when I close my eyes. Help me wash away my sorrow.